wow, President Trump erupts on a reporter in his cabinet press conference meeting today when a reporter asked about the Epstein DOJ report. And Pam Bondi, I'm going to play that for you. And then Pam Bondi explains the missing minute in a way that, wow, I'll just let you guys be the judge of it and then I'll talk about it. Also, President Trump has some harsh words for Putin. I've got a clip from a former CIA officer who's been in intelligence for over 30 years, his take on this, as well as Tucker Carlson has a guest who I think has a really interesting take on all of this stuff. Now, before we get into it, if you happen to be like, what in the world are you talking about, Nez? I have no idea. What DOJ report? What are you talking about? Missing minute? I did an entire video on that yesterday. I'll leave it up here. You can click on this little bubble coming up right here, or just go to my channel. I'll leave it in the pinned comment as well, so you can check it out. I would highly recommend you go watch that first and then come back and watch this. But check out this response when President Trump interrupts Pam Bondi. So the reporter actually was asking Pam Bondi, hey, can you tell us about the DOJ report? What about the missing minute in the security footage of Epstein's cell? Check out this clip right here. Wow.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure. If
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
So I was watching that live this morning, and I got to tell you, if you're just happen to be watching this after work this evening, this happened earlier today, July 8th, 2025. I was just absolutely blown away by that response. What do you guys think of that? Holy mackerel. By the way, I have something that I really want to ask you that you guys can actually contribute. The White House staff, President Trump's people, all of the departments, they all watch this show. Caroline Levitt, they all watch this show. So stick around. I'm going to ask you for a favor, and you're going to actually be able to contribute and potentially make a very, very profound impact. So stick around for that. This is very, very interesting. So first of all, I think Bondi's answer regarding the missing minutes seems very suspect. It seems like she's backpedaling on the, what she said back in February. Again, I shared that in the video yesterday. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I love my president. This is not any slight against my president. It's funny because my wife and I were talking about this extensively before I'm recording this and publishing it. And she actually agreed with President Trump. She said, he's right. There's more important things to go. The guy's been dead forever. Let's move on. Let's forget about this. The country needs, we have the best leader we could ever imagine. I agree wholeheartedly. And she thinks enough is enough. Let's stop talking about this Epstein guy. And by the way, I had to kind of bleep out a few things from that video. Otherwise, this video will get deleted because there's things that she mentions. She mentions footage of underage people, engaging in, you know what, as well as Epstein. Anyway, I can't say it. Otherwise, they'll delete this video. They just will. That's just how it works. I mean, I was kind of surprised by my wife's response, and she's right about everything. And maybe you feel the same way. I can't wait to get your comments, but I feel like the more that this gets kind of diverted and pushed to the side, and the more aversion just leads to more questions. And this is I'm going to ask you at the end of this, I'm going to share some more clips here. I'm going to ask you at the end of this to contribute to something that I think will shed light on everything. At least I hope it will. But you've been promising this forever. You've been hyping this up forever. This is literally the world's biggest scandal that involves some of the world's most influential human beings of all time. And the American people want answers. So yes, there's so many other things going on. Yes, we have the best leader we could imagine at this time, 100%. I voted for him 3 times. I would vote for him again. But I feel like we need some answers. Am I alone in that? Let me know in the comments down below. Here's John Kiricow, who's a former CIA officer. He actually thinks the deep state probably got rid of all this stuff before Bondi, Patel, and Bongino could ever get to it. Check this out.
I'm not blaming the FBI director, Kash Patel, or the deputy director, Dan Bongino. I think that that layer beneath them, that's part of what we like to call the deep state, has taken this bull by the horns, and they've probably destroyed information. Look at what the CIA did in 1975 after Congress ordered that it release all of its files related to an operation called MK Ultra. The director of the CIA went back to headquarters and ordered everything to be destroyed. And in the end, only about 20% of the documents survived. We're still learning about the FBI's operations against Martin Luther King 55 years after the fact. So now we're supposed to believe that everybody's telling the truth, that there were no files, there were no dossiers. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it because I know how these people operate.
Definitely an interesting take. And again, it just leaves more questions, right? And so instead of just glossing over the subject, why not get to it? And maybe this will shed a little bit of light too. I don't know how many people remembered this. Ghislaine Maxwell's little black book is to be remaining secret due to her court agreement. So if you read the caption right there, I'll read it for you. The prosecution and defense in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, who's still in jail, by the way, have agreed that her, quote, little black book of contacts will never be made public, even though the jury was allowed to see part of it. Judge Allison Nathan ruled at a Manhattan federal court that only a limited amount of material from the British socialite's contacts book would be released under seal. And so what's in the big black book? If there's no client list, if there was nobody who Epstein was, funneling these, it just kills me to even say it as a father, these young people, it's so disgusting and gross. Well, then what's in the big black book? Was it all for him and Ghislaine? I mean, I find that hard to believe. What about Prince Andrew? Anyway, too many questions, but check this out. Tucker Carlson's guest has a really interesting take. And it's something that kind of, I think, at least deserves a little bit inclusion into the conversation. Check this out.
The lie at this point is not even part of trying to convince any of this is true.
Yes.
The lie is a signal to everybody else involved in the scheme that to the ultimate ends, the United States government will go to protect all of you.
Yes.
And that's the for
Man,
what
is that smart.
purpose?
Can you say that again? Okay,
Yes.
so it's a signal.
The lie is not for you and me. The lie is for those implicated to say, no matter what, we will protect you. And then we have to start asking the question, why? As in, what is the purpose of this entire thing?
Yeah, Tucker seems very impressed with that answer from that journalist right there. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. I said this yesterday in my video that there's power and then there's power. The president has power. The president's one of the most powerful people in the world, the president of the United States, President Trump at this point. But is he the end all be all? Was Biden the end all be all? Was Obama the end all be all? Was Bush? Was Nixon? I don't know. Was Reagan? I don't know. The deep state, the powers that be, the people with the money, the billionaires, the Soroses, God knows who, etc., etc. Now, as much as I love President Trump, I love his radical transparency, I love how authentic he is, can he just come out and say that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It might be something. I wouldn't put it past him if he just came out and be like, you know what, probably guys, there's just too many people involved, too much stuff going on. We can't release it. We're moving on. You know, but that would be the truth. The way that he reacted in that video, as much as I agree with him that we have other things going on, I just think the more that you try to go, don't look over here, look over here, it just raises more questions and it causes more skepticism. That's just my thing. Representative Anna Paulina Luna is actually opening up some kind of investigation regarding this. She posted on not Truth Social, X, the American people deserve to know the truth regarding Epstein, regardless of who it impacts. There's plenty of evidence and info not pertaining to victims that the DOJ leadership can authorize to Director Cash and Bongino to release. The FBI cannot release anything without the Justice Department's authorization. The task force and all of its members will be asking for that on behalf of the American people. So she's leading a task force to try and get the files that don't incriminate or don't leave victims open for scrutiny. She says the American people should be free to come to their own conclusions. The truth will always come out one way or another. Okay, before I get to the clip of President Trump's really harsh words for President Putin of Russia, here's what I want you to do. I left a poll on my YouTube channel. I also posted on X, but here's a poll between you and I. Just right here, I want you to leave a comment. Do you think, by the way, all of their staff watches this show, Caroline Levitt, the whole nine, maybe even President Trump. I love you, President Trump. I hope to God you watch this. Maybe not. He's got a lot of stuff to do. I mean, that's kind of wishful thinking. Do you think that Kash Patel, director of the FBI, Deputy Director Bongino, Attorney General Pam Bondi, should hold a press conference explaining the entire report, explaining and taking questions about everything regarding this, and then finally putting it to bed? I think releasing the report on a Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. on our 4th of July holiday weekend is super counterproductive, to say the very, very least. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Just type a yes or a no. That's all you need to do. Let me know in the comments, and they're going to see this. So please contribute to that. I appreciate it. Okay. I'm not even going to bleep this out. This next clip, President Trump, just watch it. Speaks for itself.
That was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying, and it should end. And I don't know, we get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Do you want to sanction him? Lindsey Graham has a sanctions bill on Russia. Do you want him to move?
I'm looking at it. Yeah, no, I'm looking. The Senate is passed a very, very tough sanctions. But yeah, I'm looking at it.
Can you sign that?
It's an optional bill. It's totally at my option. They passed it totally at my option, and to terminate totally at my option. And I'm looking at it very strongly.
Yesterday,
Boy, oh boy, he is not happy with Putin. I don't trust Putin as far as you could spit on him. Ex-KGB, he's been president of Russia for over God knows how many years, 30, 40 years. I understand that President Trump is the president of peace through strength, 100%. I'm not going to talk about Iran. I think that was successful and not successful in many ways. I already mentioned what I think about that in a previous video. But this guy, Putin, yeah, you can't trust him. This war is going to go on forever until Trump, I think, puts his foot down and says, enough is enough. You don't stop right now, and it's on like Donkey Kong. I'm not saying we go to war. I'm not saying you threaten military action, but I mean, this doesn't look good. This really, I'm the last person that wants to go to war about anything. I think leaving the regime in Iran was a terrible thing because those guys, you can't trust. I would trust Putin more than I trust the Islamic Republic of Iran's supreme leaders and their mullahs. 1,000,000,000%. And that was an opportunity I thought that was missed. Again, I'm not an advocate of war. That's the last thing on planet Earth. I hate violence. I'm not a violent person. I don't even really like watching MMA that much. I'll watch it once in a while, but sometimes it gets too violent for me. So that's how I feel about violence. But I'm also somebody who, won't get pushed around. And I'm also somebody who's not naive. I'm realistic. And when there's an opportunity to take care of something, and it may not be pretty, it may not be popular, but it needs to be taken care of. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about everything. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. Please do me a favor and tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps us out immeasurably. All you got to do, you can even do it on your remote if you're watching on TV. Just click on that little thumbs up right there. It helps us. It sends a signal to the algorithm to push our videos out. We're trying to make common sense go viral. We had a huge contribution in getting this American first cabinet and getting this American first president in there in 2024. The mission is not over. The hypocrites are working overtime. They will never go away, and neither can we. So please do that. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.